day for different reasons. Am I audible and visible? Let me start today. Let me start. Mr. Dipankar Chakraborty, Shubho Sandhya. Sorry for being late. Let me start. Today's subject, a question came yesterday from one of my niece. The question is, what is the contribution of Sanatan Dharma to our freedom movement? In other way, the question is, how Sanatan Dharma inspired freedom movement of Bharat against the British? This is the question. I will give the answer in a very brief way. Then I will go to give you some basics of history. How the Muslim populations, why the Muslim rulers, after conquering this land, destroyed our temples. Another question, after conquering our land, why British destroyed our education system? Some basic thing I will tell. And then tell why the Muslims population in general did not join our freedom movement in the early part. And subsequently I will tell how and why Muslims joined the INA, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, subsequently during Second Great War. And I will tell you who were the persons in the formation of the Communist Party of India in Tashkent. That will show you how and why the Communist Party still today, all sects of Communist Party in Bharat is behaving in a way which is anti-national and pro-Islam. Let me start with the first item. What is the contribution of Sanatan? What is Sanatan Dharma? Be clear the difference between religion and Dharma. Our Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, Sanatan means which is very eternal, very ancient, very ancient. Sanatan. Sanatan Dharma, the characteristics is, number one, our Sanatan Dharma has no specific human origin, because it is the accumulation of our knowledge in ages. And this knowledge has made possible the flow of life on this globe surface. And this dharma has got fundamental characteristics. Like, we have got many idols. We are idol worshippers. And we believe the soul, the Atma, the spirit is immortal. And we believe in life after death. They are the fundamentals of our dharma. Our dharma is different from the religions of the Abrahamic origin. It is Semitic religions. Judaism, Christianity and Islam, and others who have taken origin in the West, in the Arab land. Semitic, Abrahamic, I have discussed. All those are human with human origin. Someone has preached it. They are Muhammad preached Islam, they believe. Jesus Christ preached Christianity, a human origin. Their religion has come from the lips of a human being. And our dharma, our dharmic texts has not come from a particular lips of a particular human being. The accumulation of our knowledge, wisdom in ages, in centuries, maybe lakhs of years, from the days of Vedas, when Vedas were Shrutis, not written texts. And lifespan of our Sanatan Dharma is lakhs of years. Ramayana Mahabharata is about, Ramayana is older than Mahabharata. Ramayana is about around 5 to 6,000 years. Mahabharata is about 4 to 5,000 years. And the gap between the two about 1,000 years. The basic difference. And in our dharma there is no regimentation. You can believe God, even with believing God you are Sanatani, or not believing God you are Sanatani. Believing God you are also Sanatani, no problem. You can worship Lord Shiva or Krishna or Durga or Kali, whatever. And in a particular family, one member can be worshipper of Lord Shiva, one can be a worshipper of Kali, one Shiva, one Krishna, no problem. They can coexist, and some member can be non-believer, no problem. And our Sanatan Bharat has received, welcomed refugees of other religions, from other lands, and they have been able to live here in this country as guests, and many of them has been Indianized, Hinduized, no problem. We are so acceptable, we are so recipient. We are not regimented. On the contrary, in a family of Sunni, it cannot be that one person is Sunni, other is Shia. They cannot. There is fighting between Shia and Sunnis, though they are all Muslims. They cannot believe in the same family a Christian is living under the same roof of a Muslim. Though they are all Semitic religion, they are in fightings, bloodbath, because each sect is regimented. They are, and regimentation of their behaviors. They follow particular behavior patterns. Their regimentation. Why regimentation? Because without regimentation, they cannot conquer a land. Regimentation is needed for militarization. Without regimentation, they cannot conquer a land of others. In Christianity and in Quran, there is no concept of motherland. in their religions, regimentation is there, and conquering land after land, killing the aborigines of the land, the original inhabitants of the land. In that way, by the power of the gunpowder and guns, they have conquered land after land, has created 150 Christian countries. Regimented. They do not tolerate the others. They are conquerors. Similarly, subsequent another Semitic religion was born, that is Islam, from the lips of Muhammad. He conquered land after land, and till today there is about 4 dozens of Muslim countries, killing the others, the aborigines. There is regimentation. But Sanatan Dharma, from the days of Vedas and subsequently popularized by the term Hinduism, they are not regimented. There is no regimentation. This is Sanatan Dharma. There is dharmic text or Sanatan Dharma text, dharmic text, and their texts are different. Quran is the only religious volume, their core of Islam. And in last 1300 years, there is no edition of Quran. No change in the Quran text, religious text. And Bible for 2000 years is unedited, no edition. But please remember, there is evolution of mankind, and there is human demand changes from age to age. Always. There are the laws regulating the society, human society, nation needs to be changed because there is evolution. But Bible and Quran is never edited. Any edition there is a crime. On the contrary, our dharmic texts edited in ages. There is no problem. Edition, change on according to demand on evolutions of the mankind. Clear? And very scientific evolution. And in Bible you cannot ask a question why. You cannot argue there. There is some regimented statements. You cannot ask any question. Why and how, you cannot ask. Similarly, in Quran, you cannot ask why and how. But in our dharmic texts, you can ask. You can argue. You can debate. And let me come to another question. That question is, and what is spirituality? Dharma is more or less a superficial area of our human behavior. Rituals. Let me give you the example. When we surgeon go for surgery, we prepare a patient, put the patient on the table, we clean the area of surgery, we place the instruments in positions, and we stand on the sides or 2 sides, 3 sides of the patient, an anesthetist on the head side, and there are some behavioral pattern of the surgical team and the anesthetic team. This behavior pattern is a particular rituals. But this is not the surgery proper. Surgery proper is different. And you see from the outside that rituals. The real surgery, the details inside the body, that's the difference. That is the core thing. And one cannot blindly learn that surgery. Everyone had to know the real crux of this surgery, real key point of the surgery. So long a disciple do not know that key point, that nuclear point, he cannot blindly follow his teacher to become a good surgeon. He must know the crux of the area. The moment he learned it, he learned the spirit of the surgery. Also religion, outer side there are rituals, religiosity, methodology. But real core, there is the spirituality. And spirituality, the process to know yourself and to know the art of your communications with the surroundings. Know a process to know you yourself and know your relations with the surrounding materials, living beings or non-living beings, whatever. Living beings, maybe humankind, plants, animal world, and so-called non-living beings, materials, whom we call apparently dead. But in our dharmic text, Vedanta has taught nothing in this world is dead. Everything is living. Everywhere there is vibration. Everywhere there is life. That understanding and relation of yourself with all the surrounding materials is our journey of spirituality. Finding the spirit everywhere and finding my continuity and relation with that is the understanding of the spirituality. Let me stop here. I will discuss on these subjects on a subsequent details. Let me go. And how are dharmic texts? Next question. How are Kankana? Next question. Next question is how are dharmic texts, our spirituality, our dharma, not religion, our dharma is inspired our freedom movement. Yes. Before that, let me, when Muslims rulers conquered our lands, they did the first thing. What they did? They destroyed our temples and created mosque in that place. Sometimes without destroying the whole structure of the temple, changing the surface, changing the face, they created mosque there and they occupied the area. What for? Because they saw temples in Bharat are the center of life of the society, human society here. A temple means in Bharatian society, in all parts, north, south, east and west, everywhere, is the center of the society, around which the social life আমি 1 ঘন্টা পরে বলবো রে, 1 ঘন্টা পরে। Around which society is vibrant. Each temple of that area is the gathering point of the populations around. A social gathering, a religious gathering that gives life, vibration, and all social functions are held there. Religious functions are held there. Marriage ceremonies takes place there. Social meeting together, and any meeting together means discussions there. Ideas come from gatherings, and in those days, each temple was the bank. In those days, gold was being stored as a donation to the god and goddesses. In crisis, that bank is used for the welfare of the people in crisis, during flood and famine, all these crises, even for donation to the poor families. The banks. Each temple is a bank. Each temple is a teaching place. There is schools, Ved, Shastras, all these things are taught there. It's a place of education, education center, cultural center, religious center, and financial banks. Clear? And the temples was the center of the societies, from where the life emanates. And when the Muslims conquered, they wanted to destroy that. Plus, destruction of the temples is to demoralize the society. Always the conquerors will try to demoralize you. It is easy to rule on a demoralized nation. If they can destroy your morality, your spirit, your education system, they can easily rule you. And what they told that they do not believe in idols. They are against idols. That is a fact, as in Quran. But ask your Muslim brothers and friends, is Quran totally devoid of idols? What is the meaning of the moon? What is the meaning of the moon? What is the meaning of Allah? What is the meaning of Muhammad? Are those not the idols? And the Quranic texts, the religious texts, are written in letters. Is not each letter, each symbol is an idol? Similarly, Christians claim they are against any idol, but they are Jesus Christ, Mother, and that God, and also that structure, that the cruise, and that animals. Are those not the symbols? Are those not the idols? In this world, no religion, no dharma, no science textbook, no language, no literature can be minus idols. Without idol, without symbol, one cannot convey your personal knowledge, your personal ideas to others. Abstract thinking cannot go in abstract way. It must go through some symbols, some idols. Some presentation must be done, must go through some materials. Let me go. And this is why the Muslims, after conquering the land, invaded, destroyed our temples. And only difference, when the Christians conquered our land, they did not destroy our temples, because they knew destruction of temples creates much anger in the minds of the Hindus. They are sensitive, they are wise there. But what they did the destruction of our old education system. Their aim was to deroot us from our ancient education system, to make us forget our Sanskrit text, which contains our heritage, our knowledge, where our knowledge, wisdom is treasured. All our wisdom, starting from metallurgy, surgery, medicine, physics, chemistry, astrophysics, applied psychology, law, grammar, everything. Everything is there. The moment they can make us forget Sanskrit, they will not be able to reach our treasure. Yesterday I have told you what is the treasure of Sanskrit. But they are copying the text, the knowledge in our Sanskrit. They are copying. They are taking away and taking knowledge from there and copying that, transferring their knowledge to their European languages, and they are being enriched. But we are deprived of our own treasure. And by that way, they have dispirited us, derooted us. They have cutted, they could be able to cut our roots. Our energy went down. We are dispirited. And how? Then how? How our, remember, in Bible, in Quran, they are religious texts. There is no science. Only some regimentation of some behaviors, patterns. But our religious texts, our dharmic text contains all sciences. Our spiritual text is not minus sciences. That is our treasure. That is our source of energy. Clear? And remember how. Now next question. How our Sanatan Dharma. Remember, Ramayana Mahabharata is not our religious text. Ramayana Mahabharata is our great novels. Though all these novels has got historic backgrounds. Our religious texts are Vedas, Vedanta, Upanishad. These are our religious texts. Ramayana Mahabharata is not our religious text. These are great novels. Mahakabha. And our Mahakabha, Ramayana Mahabharata, is far bigger than their biggest texts of Iliad and Odyssey. And how our dharmic texts, our spirituality, our dharma has at one time, in the first part of the last century or last part of the 19th century and first part of the 19th century, 20th century, has encouraged us, has spirited us to go for our freedom movement. Let me confine here. Number one, think of when the British came, along with them, the text of the Germany, Italy, all these things came. From there we came across the national movements, the unification movements of the Italy, Germany, Garibaldi, all these things. They are heroes. That spirited us. From there, we got the idea of nationhood and national movements of the Europe. Garibaldi, Mazzini, all these things. That is one source of our energy. Mental change of mindset. Then came another big event. In 1902, Japan, an Asian country, for the first time defeated Russia, a European power. Though Russia, anatomically, geographically, part of both Europe and Asia, but they regard themselves as a European power. And Japan, an Asian country, geographically and materially. Japan defeated Russia. That stimulated all Asian nations. Because by this time, all the Asian nations are subjugated, the European forces. Only on this globe surface in Asia, only two countries, Japan and Afghanistan, only these two countries remain free practically all along. Japan is all along. None could subjugate that the island nations, archipelago. the group of islands, nations. Only Afghanistan was subjugated for a short period, but majority of the time, this freedom lovers, land of freedom lovers, remained free. And this victory of Japan stimulated the subjugated nations of the Asia. India also was spirited that yes, a European power like Britain can be defeated. Then, before that, there is a big event in Chicago. Swami Vivekananda. His speeches there gave to the other world, Western world, the idea that the knowledge of the Orient, knowledge of the East, knowledge of the Bharat is not inferior to the knowledge of the West. Rather, Bharat has the oldest civilization of the world in continuity. Moreover, the knowledge possessed there is much superior to the knowledge of the West. That information, that victory of Swamiji in Chicago spirited, electrified the whole nation. That is a victory of Sanatan Dharma in the West. That flying flag spirited the whole nation, that awakened the whole nations. All the so-called freedom fighters in India, honest or dishonest, all had to accept that fact that Swamiji electrified the mindset, the sleeping mindset, the subjugated mindset of Bharat. That is stability. That is one positive from our Sanatan Dharma. And then you see the Agni-Juk, the revolutionary activities in Maharashtra from the age of Tilak and Savarkar. And then another thing, Aurobindo came, and contact of Aurobindo with Nivedita gave birth to Agni-Juk in India in the first decade of the last century. And that's the contribution of Sanatan Dharma. Through and your Aurobindo was the spirit of that Agni-Juk. And your Bipin Chandra Pal was the spokesman, is the voice of that Agni-Juk. And then the days of your here Lal, Bal, Pal, all these things, and Deshbandhu, Subhash Chandra, all these things. These are all dharmic persons. They are all their energy coming from our dharmic texts. All their spirit ideas coming from the dharmic texts. Remember, Swamiji is the modern spokesperson of Vedanta to the West and to the East. We have revisited Vedanta through him. And Kaviguru Rabindranath got Nobel Prize in 1913. He is the modern spokesperson of Upanishad. Through him, we reread Upanishad. The wealth of Upanishad we saw through his writings. That inspired, that songs of Kaviguru had inspired patriots. Even the writings of Swami Vivekananda has inspired, stimulated the youth of this country. Even Qazi Nazrul Islam, Qazi, though rising from a Muslim family, but Qazi's literatures is not from Quran, but his songs on Kali is supreme. His great compositions, which based on dharmic texts, our of Kali is not Islamic there. that spirited. And Netaji, his and spirituality of this Bharat. And let me give you two questions, very important for you. Early part of our freedom movement, Muslims did, let me state, British from the hands of the Muslims, very angry with the British, majority Hindus. That's why in a subsequent phase, they have got a compromise. We have discussed in my last volume, Vichitra, from his autobiography. And the government of India was formed in Kabul. Remember, British Emperor, many Muslims to settle in, and Muslim rulers live in a land. It is seen they to live in a land, Afghanistan, and wanted. Tsar was ruling Russia. That gave the background to form a provisional government of North India. Background was supporting him was Muslims, those Muslims. Clear? Historical to collect certificate with the help of the form a party for India, Communist Party of India, and the supporting. Please remember, those related to Afghanistan and West, initial part of the days of the commanders, majority were Muslims. This Bharat, the British India, those were the members. In India, Communist Party, CPI or CPM or not, whatever, any sect of Communist Party, this has weakness for the Islamic cause, Islamic fundamentalism. They will accept that, they will welcome that. There are either CPM or CPI, they will appease Muslims, they will even approve any Islam, even killing majority Hindu. Clear your idea? Idea clear? Now, it is SANATAN DHARMA. It is not religion. It is not religious texts. Education, a doctrine, but dharmic. Never advise. They will advise you to be inquisitive, go into depth of nature, and will inspire you to go in knowledge, all subjects of sciences, and will allow you with, and even with dharmic texts needed. They are never rejected.